Salve pessoas bonitas, tudo bom com vocês? É o seguinte, eu tava fuçando no meu celular essa semana, na verdade limpando a memória do meu celular, e aí eu encontrei uma conversa que eu tive com a minha amiga e ex-aluna de português, Lindsei. E nessa conversa a gente fala sobre a diferença das escolas públicas no Brasil e as escolas públicas nos Estados Unidos, após uma visita que nós fizemos a uma escola aqui em Itu, como parte de uma atividade das aulas de português dela. Então, o áudio a seguir é o áudio dessa conversa que a gente teve. Eu acho que é um bom exercício de listening para vocês, quem quiser ouvir o áudio e treinar o seu listening, é uma boa oportunidade. E é uma conversa bem legal sobre as diferenças do ensino público no Brasil e do ensino público nos Estados Unidos, principalmente no Texas, de onde a Lindsei é. Então eu espero que vocês gostem, e ainda bem que eu não deletei isso do meu celular, né? Abraço, gente, aproveitem o áudio e let's study English. Peace out. Hello people, I'm here with my friend Lindsei.
Hi.
And we've just left Vila Lucinda School. We talked with some students, and right now we're driving around the projects, so Lindsei can have an idea what the projects look like in Brazil.
Yeah.
So Lindsei, please tell us, how different is a public school in the US from the public school you saw here today?
Well, it's been a while since I've been in public school. Not so long, I'm not so old. But it's definitely different. I think one of the first things that I noticed that we talked about when we walked in was the fact that it kind of almost looks like a prison, like the school here.
Yeah.
Just the way that the gates are, and with a lot of like padlocks and
And it's confusing because you don't know if they are protecting students from outsiders or protecting the street from the students. Like, it's really weird.
Yeah, kind of. But so it's definitely different. But I mean, we do have security measures, quote unquote, like in the U.S. now in public schools, just because of school shootings that have happened. So it's not so weird to have someone like buzz you into the school. That's not really anything new in my mind. But it's definitely, I mean, the quality of the building is significantly different. The shape and style of the building is different. And even, Cabral was joking as we were walking in. He was like, all right, here's our, like, well, he said it in Portuguese, but like our school jail. And I think even being in an environment like that, it makes it look, it's not exactly conducive to learning, because you feel like you're just being locked
It's
away.
not motivating, right?
No.
Like you already feel like a criminal.
Yeah.
You should feel like someone with potential to do something great with your life, instead of being like treated as a criminal or things like that. We were in a library talking to students about Halloween, and I don't know if you noticed, but the windows were like barely open, and there was no air conditioning, not even a fan was on, so it was like getting really hot. I think there were like 45 students in the room with us. Would that happen in the States, or how different are classrooms
Actually,
from what we saw today?
I didn't notice that, but that's really true. Yeah, I mean, that would never happen in a public school. I think if you walked into a public school in the U.S., I'm saying in the U.S., yeah. If you walked into a public school in the U.S. and there weren't any air conditioning, probably all of the parents would have a fit. Like, they would not have it. They would all complain, something would be done immediately, or who knows what, I don't know. That just doesn't happen in the U.S. It's normally like overly air conditioned to the point where it could be burning hot outside and you're actually freezing in the classroom. So that's definitely different. And
also another thing I noticed, that since we were in the library, there were only 2 computers on a desk on a corner of the room, for probably a school which has, I don't know, 1,000 students, maybe something close to 1,000 students.
Yeah.
What is the structure like in public schools in the States, like for libraries and media labs and labs in general?
Right, so it also totally depends on the school, but I can talk a bit about the public school that I grew up going to that was in my neighborhood. And I did notice that when they said library, I walked in and I was like, this doesn't really look like a library.
Exactly. It has the name on at the door, but...
Yeah, it doesn't look like a library. Like, I don't know, I think most kids probably wouldn't necessarily want to go in there and sit and read a book. And in my school where I grew up, we had a really big library with 2 levels, and on the top level there was a loft. We had like bean bags, we had all kinds of games up there. We would have reading hour, and we would all like sit together on the floor with blankets and read books, and this was like during our free time on our library days. And
so it's like a fun place.
Yeah, with lots of color, art.
Encourage students to study and read and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Another thing I want to know your opinion about is the projects. We're driving around the projects here in Itu. For those who are not familiar with the word projects, we're driving around Vila Lucinda, CDHU. So how different is the projects from the US and comparing to these ones we're just looking at right now?
I mean, I can't speak on a lot here just because I'm not talking as someone who knows a ton about the projects in Brazil other than just what I've seen like driving around.
We can walk around if you want. Park the car.
Hey, let's go.
And you can talk to people.
Could be fun. But I will say, I mean, obviously this kind of goes without saying, you're probably expecting this answer, but the quality is a lot lower. I mean, there are places in the US where honestly quality of life is not great, and we do have projects in a lot of different cities, and I've seen some of them. I haven't seen a lot, but I think it's definitely maybe a lot more common here. I think that the quality isn't nearly as good. You can tell that the buildings are in need of repair, but obviously there isn't money to do that. It's kind of, Cabral and I talked about this in another class we had where we just kind of drove around and did kind of the same thing, just looked at different places in E2.
She's talking about the day we drove around São Judas and Santa Laura. I took her to see the low-income neighborhoods in the city.
Yeah, and I didn't see a ton of like actual projects when we were driving through there, but I saw some. And it's kind of what we talked about. You can just tell that someone, the government, whoever just threw it there to try to make it look like they're doing something to help out, just kind of give people a space. But it's not anything that's really sustainable that would exactly last you a long time. It kind of just serves to look like you're helping people out.
So you can get votes.
Yeah, when really you're just keeping people stuck in a cycle because you're not putting them in places where they're going to have opportunities. You're not exactly improving education. You're just giving them a roof and saying, all right, good luck in life. And it doesn't exactly change anything in the long run. So, yeah.
Okay, so that's it. I'm taking Lindsei back to her reality in Portela Aberto so she doesn't get too shocked. And
Not
yeah,
exactly.
if you have an opinion about what we've just talked, please don't be shy and tell us your opinion on that, okay?
Yeah, and there's a lot more to say on this, so we'll probably respond.
Yeah.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.